Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Good day, respected viewers. My name is Abdulhakim Dayyabu, and today I want to speak to you about the benefits of lifelong learning. Let me begin with a quote from Albert Einstein where he says, and I quote, "The day you stop learning is the day you start dying." Wow, this is a very profound statement. However, death in this context is not the biological one, but rather an intellectual death or an intellectual decline or stagnation, which implies that the moment an individual stops to learn is the moment that their decline in the intellectual powers they have begins. But to make sense of this presentation, let us study the definition of lifelong learning according to UNESCO. According to UNESCO, lifelong learning is the deliberate and voluntary form of learning in which an individual takes part in order to develop themselves personally and professionally. In fact, OECD even added that this learning can be formal, informal, or semi-formal. In short, lifelong learning is a mindset, is a journey, is an ideology that an individual takes to continue to learn throughout their life, not limited to their own field of study. The benefits or the significance or the role of lifelong learning in personal and professional successes cannot be overstated. It brings about adaptability, versatility, and humility. And these are the three benefits that I will speak about in this presentation. To start with, let us study the benefit of lifelong learning as the first one, which is adaptability. Adaptability means that an individual person has the capacity or the ability to switch to changes in this dynamic world that we are in, which is characterized with scientific breakthroughs, technological advancements, and political uncertainties. Adaptability empowers an individual with the skills to navigate through these uncertain changes of the 21st century. Throughout this presentation, we will make reference or an example with a medical doctor who is professionally trained in his field of expertise, who embraces the journey of lifelong learning and unleashes his potential and explores other sectors. We will also compare him with another medical doctor who is only limited to the field of medicine so that we can clearly see how lifelong learning places the medical doctor that embraces it on an edge and gives them more advantage. Now, let's take the concept of adaptability and translate it into these two examples of medical doctors. Imagine one of these medical doctors is laid off from their job. They lose their job. How will they adapt? Because the first person has embraced lifelong learning, he acquired skills in entrepreneurship, computer appreciation, financial literacy. That person was able to start up a new clinic and employs others to even work for him because he has skills that are beyond just the field of medicine. While the other one who is limited to the field of medicine had to continue job hunting for months before he could find another job. Now let's go to the second benefit of lifelong learning, which is versatility. Versatility means that an individual person would be empowered with knowledge of multiple fields, and he would also be empowered with diverse skill sets and as well as sharpened creativity and innovation. Which means if an individual person engages in lifelong learning, they will acquire knowledge on different fields. So the medical doctor will have knowledge on agriculture, on technology, on history, on politics, on literature, on education, and a host of other fields of study. You would also acquire skills, for example, in web design, graphic design, entrepreneurship, photography, and all other skills that are out there, then this will lead to sharpened creativity and innovation, which means this same medical doctor who is professionally trained in medicine will now begin to think of, okay, how about I bring in my knowledge of tech into medicine? So then you see something like e-health. Okay, you have a software that is built by a medical doctor to give access to medical services to patients from distance. Let's go to the third benefit of lifelong learning, which is humility. And this is a very powerful benefit because anybody who engages in lifelong learning has the conviction that the quantity of what I don't know is much more than the quantity of what I know. In other words, what I know is very little compared to the knowledge that is out there. Therefore, the person will have an open mind and would be humble to listen to others, learn from their experiences, and benefit from their knowledge. This is a very powerful reformation, a character reform that lifelong learning does to individuals because it makes them so humbled that they can even learn from people that they are older than. For example, you can see a professor learning from their student, asking them, okay, how about this? Because they truly know that knowledge is something that no one has monopoly over. No one has a monopoly of knowledge, and no one is an island of knowledge. So this is the third benefit of lifelong learning. Ladies and gentlemen, respected viewers, having seen these benefits, which are adaptability, versatility, and humility, we can all agree that the benefits, the significance, and the importance of lifelong learning cannot be overstated. As such, I encourage you all to embrace lifelong learning and unlock your doors to personal and professional success. Thank you so much for watching.